I want somebody to share with me. If you okay, now that if you're saying that you belong to all these categories, then I want to believe that it's because one way or the other, God has given you the ability to be these many things. Okay, now with what we have said today, or with what we are learning, how how do you plan to apply what you've heard to these different aspects of your life? Who wants to share? How are you going to okay, I'm assuming that you are a student, you're a businesswoman, and at the same time you're also a woman in ministry. So how are you going to ensure that across these three categories you are you are fulfilling all that God wants you to fulfill? So you are excellent in your academics, in your business you're yielding the best results, in ministry you are yielding the best results. How do you think you want to go about that? I want us to be practical. So who wants to share? Who wants to share? What are the challenges that we are facing regarding uh living a life of impact across these areas, whether you want to share about a specific area or about all the areas? So who wants to share? What are the challenges that you have faced as a person? Anybody? For those of us that are here, I can see one, two, three. Okay, yes, go ahead. Still, you can share.
Okay, so hello everybody.
Yeah.
Um, my name is Titi, and I am a PhD student. So, first of all, the reason why I felt like I'm in like the three categories is because I'm a PhD student, and as a PhD student, I also work as a research assistant, and I plan to continue my career after studying as an engineer. And I also believe I'm a woman of ministry because I I know how and where God has called me to. So as for challenges, I feel like um it can be a challenge balancing ministry with having a career and planning for a career and studying at the same time, because there's only so much hours we have in the day. So that can be challenging, but I think so far God has been helping me to integrate things and plan my life better. And I I feel like there are spaces um where women are not necessarily welcome. So in terms of career, and when you're a woman who wants
I
to
can't hear you
advance.
clearly again. Maybe you can speak up.
Oh, I don't. Sorry, can you hear me better now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just saying that, like, in terms of challenges, I feel like in place of career there are some spaces where women are not necessarily welcome, and it can be challenging being there and just knowing that you are not expected to do well, or you're not expected to do great. So that can be challenging, but at the same time, I've learned that there's always more that can be done. And like you said in the general session, that we should not hold on to past achievements and like focus on what next God wants us to do. I feel like that's something that can be applied in both my academics, my career, and my ministry.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. Okay, before I say something, let me allow Miss Kemi to speak. Okay, go ahead, you can speak. And also, if there's anybody that also wants to share something based on what has been said, you can also let me know. Then maybe I'll just cap it all up. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I think she has mentioned the first point that I have on my list now. Yeah, and that's the challenge of balance. How do I create a balance? At present, I I said I work as a research assistant. I just concluded my master's and I'm pushing for a PhD. And then I have businesses that I do. And at the same time, I know that there is this mandate to just reach out for young souls. So how do I create a balance? How do I weld everything together and make sure that everything is rolling well? And another challenge I've been having is I've come to understand that there is a thin line between purpose, passion, and God's leading. How do I ensure that I don't cross the border of that thin line? Where's the place where purpose and where passion ends, and where's the place where I have to depend on, oh, this is God leading me to do this thing? And another issue is how do I help myself to keep going even when it looks as if results are not showing forth, results are not coming forth? How do I get going? How do I make sure that I still keep on? So thank you.
Okay. All right. Let me say something about balancing maybe everything. Okay. So one thing we must learn to do is, sometimes or how what do I say? What's the word now? Ah, when something where the disruption to the balance, because sometimes it looks as if at first everything was fine, and then there's maybe a change of system, or a change in our season, or a change in something happens, maybe we relocate or you get married, and it seems like that balance is disrupted also, or it just seems like you don't have everything together, or you change location. One thing that we must trust God to help us to do is to put structures in place, and these structures are actually unique to each and every one of us, and that's why you can't really say, okay, this is how this person has been balancing what the person is doing. So if you pick what this person is doing and go and try it directly the way in your own way, it won't really work out. But sometimes one problem that happens is we don't usually acknowledge that, okay, things have actually changed where I am. We still expect that we can run things the way things were before that, I don't want to say that disruption, or before that change occurred. So we must first of all accept our new reality, and also in trying to balance things, we must learn that a time will come when some other things will have to go. And that's why I was highlighting that we should allow God to be the one to choose our priorities at every time, at every season, because what God will want you to prioritize or focus on at that particular time changes. One thing I was going to mention is many of the problems that we have as ladies, or let me say as people, as humans, is the inability, or that reluctance to really yield to God's sovereign rule in our lives, because some of us are scared that if we allow God to call all the shots, we feel that there are some things that will be gone that we still want to hold dear. And these things may not be bad things. For instance, when it comes to balance, or based on where you are or what you are doing, if it's that some responsibilities that you hold dear, or you are holding, or some communities that you belong to, or some things that you used to do before, you can't do them at that pace that you used to do them before, then you might have to drop them. It's not because they are bad, it's not because you're no longer interested in them. In fact, some of the maybe things that you have set up before, in terms of maybe carrying out your assignment and all, they might have to change. Maybe, okay, then for instance, let me say, then you used to organize physical meetings. Probably with the way things are now, all you can probably do, you are able to do is to organize virtual meetings. But you organize those virtual meetings and make the best of them, and also be sure that God is the one that led you to do it. Do you get? Because we must learn to acknowledge and admit that whatever it is that caused a change, things have actually changed, and this is my new reality. That's one thing I want to say. When it comes to the issue of, okay, purpose, passion, see, one thing my husband used to say is, work with God. like let our desire first of all be that we want to walk in an intimate relationship with God and please God with our lives. Because see, when it comes to purpose, I've come to see that there are different assignments that will come to you at different times. Things will change. Like you can't really say, okay, at this level, say, oh, this is everything my purpose is all about. That might be what you are seeing at this level, but that might not be all that there is to it. As you walk, as you grow, God might unveil another level that you did not know even existed to that dimension, like to the issue of your purpose. But this thing we're talking about, purpose basically is more or less like you allowing God to flow through you, allowing Christ to live through you, okay? You pleasing God with your daily life, being intentional about what it is, whatever it is that He wants you to do, being intentional about how you live your life per day. Okay, so as you walk with Him, in fact, it's as simple as Him alighting some things in your heart that, okay, today this is what I want you to do, or I want you to do this, I want you to carry out this task, I want you to do this, do that. And as we now, in total surrender and service to Him, as we walk with Him, it is then we even begin to see that, oh, I had this ability. Oh, I didn't even know this thing existed in me. I didn't even know this thing existed in me. So I don't want us to first of all be so concerned about, oh, am I sure that this one is God? As long as if you are working with God, you have an intimate relationship with God. You hear Him clearly. You hear when He says go. You hear when He says do these things. You hear when He says, okay, this is what I want you to do at this time, and you know that He's Him. You go for it. Do you get? Don't be so bothered with, okay, what if this one is not, excuse me, what if this one is not God, or what if this one is just me? That is why I said it still boils down to allowing Him to determine what is priority in your life at that particular time. Did we get that? I'm trusting that what we shared, I'm trusting that what I said actually helped us.